Hi, I'm Mike Henry, and this is my video for the new Fat Pencil. So 3 years ago, I made this video about the Fat Pencil. The Fat Pencil was a pencil that I used for basically all of my drawings, and it was nothing more than the technical pencil, which was already included in Procreate, that had a couple of parameters changed. So in this video that you're seeing in the background here, I explained how to build that pencil. I've decided now I'm going to completely change everything. Instead of having you go in and alter an existing pencil, I'm going to have a download where you can grab a small brush set that I've created that sort of collects together things that I use on a regular basis. Well, it's really less about things that I use on a regular basis and more about recreations of them and trying to find little opportunities to improve them here or there. Let's take a look at what's in this set. So I've named it Mike's Brushes, and what I've tried to include in here is a few that are somewhat unique, and then some others that are just like bread and butter brushes. Let's start with the bread and butter ones. All I did was recreate ones that are essentially already in Procreate, but I just wanted to include them here so you could download them as one pack. You can delete them if you don't need them. Those two that are the main ones are Old Softy and Solid Round. So Old Softy is exactly what you think it is. It's just a big, soft, airbrushy brush. There's nothing really going on there. It's not special, but I wanted to include it so that you knew that it was part of that grouping. And then Solid Round, which is exactly what it is. It's a round brush that is just solid, and it has some opacity fall off in pressure. That's it. These are also like extremely similar, practically the same as if you go into the airbrushing section and you grab soft brush here and you grab like hard brush here. They're extremely similar. They've been altered a little bit. They've been built from the ground up, but they're you might as well consider them just slight alterations of the existing brushes. Now we start getting into some more unique ones. This one is called Rough Ink. I use brushes like this, and I decided to create a new one for inking purposes. When I want something to have an inky vibe to it, but I want it to be like a real medium, so it can look a little bit like it's got some damage to it, it's got some character to it. On the high end, this is a, let's double check our canvas here, canvas information. So this is a 3600 pixel canvas by 2400 pixels. And this is it at its max size. You can, if you press, you get it about that thick. If you want it for finer detail, it works just great for finer detail. It does have some damage to it. The purpose of this brush is not to be a super smooth, slick inking. It's to have just a little bit of character there. The next brush here is I made a watercolor brush. Let's go ahead and pick a nice color to test it. This one I made from the ground up. I know that there's various watercolor brushes out there. There's people out there that make tons and tons of brushes, and that's like their thing. I'm not that guy. I use very few brushes. However, something that I do fairly frequently is watercolor. Let me import in a watercolor texture real quick. Okay, so here we've got like a slight watercolor papery texture, and then if we put in our watercolor, this is what it looks like. It blends pretty nicely if we were to bring in other colors as well. And I think that this is just sort of nice for when you want to do that type of a look. This isn't going to give you a ton of range. For instance, if you download a watercolor pack from someone, you're going to get like tons of watercolor brushes that have lots of different play to them. But if you're somebody who doesn't download a lot of brushes and you just want to play with some basic stuff, that's what this would be. I do watercolory looking stuff every now and then, and I just like having a nice reliable watercolor brush for when that is needed. The next brush is what I'm calling the new Turpentine Brush. I use the Turpentine Brush a lot, but it's a standard brush that's in Procreate. In fact, let me show it to you. It's in painting. I always think it's in artistic, but it's in painting. Here's the old Turpentine Brush, or the regular Turpentine Brush that you have in Procreate. You have to really work it in order to get it to build up, and that's, oh boy, we got lowered opacity. How'd that happen? There we go. Now, but you still have to work it to get it pretty built up. I've had people say, oh, like, working with the turpentine brush is a pain in the ass. Like, why do you work with that? And it's true. It's a little bit of a wild brush to try and work with. So what I wanted to do was create a new turpentine brush that had a little bit more control. It was a little bit smoother overall. And I think people will like it. Here it is. It's the new turpentine brush. If you don't like it, that's cool. The old one is still there. But here is the new one. Let me get this bigger so you can see what it's doing here. So it's a little smoother. It is a little rounder. Well, I mean, it's round as opposed to like a square. It has very similar properties where it really blends. So let's grab another color and get that mixed in here with it. So you can see this is what it does when it is just being laid in. And then if we switch it to being our smudge, you can see that you get really nice blending out of it. Part of this is powered by Procreate's like new way that they handle this type of stuff, but it's quite nice actually, and I think that it'll end up coming in handy. I've played with it a bit. I haven't painted a whole thing yet with it, but I like the feel of it quite a bit. So we're gonna see where it goes from here. Let's bring in another color just to continue to see how everything blends together. I'm just making a mess just to sort of see how it all works. I mean, I know how it all works. I'm just showing you how it all works. So anyways, that is the new turpentine brush. And I think that using it in the same way that we did before is still going to work. Something that's going to be nice about this though is that because it's round and it has a little bit more control when you're doing your fills and stuff, you still get that roughness and you still get the sort of like random like craziness that can happen with the turpentine brush. You can see right there, but you can actually control it a lot more and get like a smoother edge if you need it, instead of switching to another brush or something. But now let's switch to the star of the show. Let's get black. Fat Pencil 2020. So instead of walking you through how to build the fat pencil or how to simply adjust the technical pencil to get the fat pencil, I built one from scratch. Some of the feedback that I got from people, similar to the turpentine brush with how wild it was that the fat pencil, or I should say the technical pencil that's been blown up, which is what the fat pencil was, had too much of a tooth to it. It was too noisy and too grainy. So what I tried to set out to do here was make a versatile pencil that could do everything that I do with it, but do it a little bit better than it did it before. So first things first, let's start big. This is how big it gets. It doesn't get massive, but it has a really nice feel to it. So if I start doing some like sketching with it, you can see that it comes out pretty smooth. There is still a texture to it, but the texture is less gritty overall. If we just throw some ears and some hair, you can see that this is actually, it's pretty nice the way that it comes out overall. And I have done an entire piece now where I did a drawing all with this pencil, and it feels pretty good overall. So let's just finish getting something simple in here. Okay, fine, that's whatever. And then lower the opacity on it and lower the thickness. And now get in here and actually see the way this new pencil works. I think that it's pretty nice. I think you're gonna dig it. I think that it's certainly smoother. That part of the sort of like mission was achieved. I think it feels almost a little bit more like an animator's pencil, and I don't mean that like it's like this specific type of pencil, but I think that what you get out of it, the action that you get out of it, feels more like that look, I guess you could say. You can shade still pretty easily with it. It comes out pretty nice. I'll go a little darker. The sensitivity of it is good, and I think that it just overall has a nice vibe to the whole thing. So instead of going with retrofitting an existing pencil, we've decided now to present this set, Mike's brushes, which are just 6. These would be like the core things that I would use for most of everything I do. And then I would dart around to the other groupings if I want to play with something else. Now, if you want to get your hands on this set, you just have to pay the low price of free. It's a simple little set. I would never charge for something like that. I think that really this is just about saying, hey, in the past we've done the fat pencil and it's been like a really simple thing for you to put together, and I want to keep it that way. It didn't take me long to build these brushes. It was super simple, and you can go ahead and you can tear through these brushes and change them and do whatever you want with them and try to learn from them and all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to continue to use these and make sure that I'm sort of backing up the design of these over time, and we'll see how everything goes. So that's the new set, which includes the Fat Pencil 2020, and I just hope you guys dig it. So the download link is down below in the description. Hopefully these will be a nice little set to help out your 2020 art journey. Thanks for watching, thanks for all the support, and I'll see you on the next video. And if you're looking for me on the internet, these are the places where you can find me.